UFC 251 took place on Fight Island. They're still doing the no audience thing, which I love. I'm a huge fan of it. I actually like it more than people screaming. Maybe because I'm a little bit interested in what the coaches are saying. I like hearing those big fucking hits. And it's interesting, again, how the announcers, the commentators can be heard by the fighters. So when Michael Bisping is saying things about like what they need to do, like they're taking, the fighters can hear them.
Yeah.
And you can hear him lower his decibel level when it gets a little quieter. And it's just like the stakes and then the tension in that room. You could probably cut it with a fucking knife. But yeah, Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway had a very good fight, 5-round fight, championship fight. And this guy, Volkanovski, is the champion. And it was a little controversial because it was a split decision that probably could have gone both ways. But what we're seeing time and time again is because people are saying Holloway got robbed. If you want to beat the champ, you gotta beat the fucking champ.
Decisive. Don't give it to the judges.
No 3-2 shit. Like we saw it with John Jones and a handful of other fighters. You have to beat the champ. Did I think Max Holloway got robbed? Yeah, but also I'm seeing a pattern in the UFC. Like they're not, maybe because it is a business at the end of the day. They ain't gonna give it to someone who they think maybe can detract from the audience that is UFC fans. If Volkanovski, who's an Australian,
that's so whack.
is bringing in a large audience from Australia who's watching his fights, like, yeah, it's whack, but it is a business, brother.
No, I get it, but
that's
the sanctity of. So I'm sure it's the same in boxing too. But it's like the sanctity of judging should matter. Like the idea that you can't rely on. So why even have the judges? Why even have the judge? Just say it like this.
Why not fight 100 rounds?
Just say it like this. If you don't knock the champ out, you ain't the champ. Why even have the judges? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? At what point does it not even fucking matter? Question for you. Masvidal loses, right?
Yeah, Masvidal lost against Iseman.
Big news, yeah?
Yeah, because he's street Jesus. He's a game-bred fighter. He's bred to be game.
So, and obviously, he got that huge confidence booster with the Jake Paul post before the fight, which
it wasn't enough.
Wasn't enough to get it through. But my question is this: wasn't Masvidal a bad motherfucker? Does he lose that title?
Oh, that's a good. I don't think he does.
I know. So this is where I come in. I bring the weird stuff because I'm obviously don't watch, religiously like you guys. But
bad motherfucker belt
from Nate Diaz.
Bad motherfucker. Yeah.
So shouldn't Usman technically be the bad motherfucker if he beat the bad motherfucker?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Usman is the bad.
He's bad.
Everyone knows. But we've seen
he's
just beaten the. That's a problem.
20-pound loss.
You can't do that.
He did it.
You can do it, but you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
If you want it, not against Kamaru fucking Usman.
That was a tough challenge.
I've said this before, and I learned my lesson after the Tyron Woodley fight.
Oh my God.
Usman ain't a guy to bet against. He's one of the most solid fighters in the game, and sure, the fight was the most entertaining thing ever. But Jorge Masvidal is no walk in the park.
Absolutely,
you're not gonna walk through this guy. He's a fiery motherfucker. It's street Jesus.
I'd love to see him to be the champ.
I'm saying, but again, taking a fight on 6 days' notice, ballsy, game-bred fighter. This day, he wasn't bred to be game enough.
Yeah,
I saw him laying on a bed or whatever with towels over him doing the weight cut the day before the weigh-ins. And
what does that do to you,
dude? You have no idea.
That's why I asked.
Right. So we did this for wrestling.
Yeah,
and football season, I'm 195. Wrestling. My coach is like, yo, we want you to wrestle 170. I go, no problem, coach. I cut that weight. Look at me. I'm 195 now.
You're solid.
If I lost 25 pounds right now, I don't know where that weight comes from. And I was wrestling a match at 170 one time, and how it works in wrestling anyways, you'd weigh in, and then you get to eat before your match. And so that on this particular day, I weighed in at 169.9 or whatever, and then just pounded a fucking meal or 2 or 3 an hour before my my match. And I remember wrestling this kid, and I was like, yo, this is one of the worst experiences of my life. I am so incredibly weak right now. I could barely move my legs, and it wasn't a hard match.
Yeah.
And it drained me, and I experienced it again when I cut weight for The Thinning, that movie, The Thinning, and even my first fight against KSI. Cutting weight affects people differently, but for me, just makes me weak, depletes my mental strength, and overall just like shrinks me as an athlete.
Turn into a raisin.
You don't think? Yeah. You don't think it does that to? I would assume it's got to really fuck.
Some
with
people
you.
are smarter with it. I didn't do it the healthiest way. Again, this is like coming from a dude in Ohio that like thinks he knows how to
Chicken
eat
patty
healthy.
and water.
Yeah, that's how I come to. He'd see it. I come to school.
Yeah.
I'd eat a chicken patty. I'd have my pack of trail mix in the morning. 700 calories a day was my limit. 700 healthy calories a day, and I would not go over that no matter what, and then have to do a wrestling practice on top of it. Yo, it is the hardest thing to try to exert energy when you have none. Look, I actually have before and after pictures of me when I cut 25 pounds in wrestling, and I was a senior in high school, and you'll be surprised because you can't actually see that much of a difference because and these top tier athletes also, dude. Left is 195.
No, you could tell.
Right is 170. So first, I've noticed the color of my skin.
Yeah.
I think you were closer in the other one, so it kind of throws off the perspective.
No. Same backdrop. Same distance.
Okay, you can tell immediately when I look at that left bicep.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you can tell immediately that left bicep is deflated.
I'm pink.
Your sides are probably shrunk a little bit.
I'm pink. Look,
That's
man.
better. That's better. That one's closer from a.
Yeah, your
perspective
skin are
standpoint.
in the width category.
dude, I hated myself. So imagine in 6 days trying to make 170 when I bet these dudes are walking around at 185, 190, and you could see it at the end of the fight. Masvidal was breathing real heavy, and he was still trying so hard to do his thing and have fun and stick his tongue out and be the game bred fighter. But Usman is not he ain't the guy.
Credit to both fighters though. I mean, great
Yep.
fight.
Yep.
Does anybody else? I hate to say this, but I get so pumped when the stick the tongue out guy loses. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
If you're gonna stick
thing.
your tongue out, you can't.
Yeah, you
lose.
can't lose.
I
You set your
it's like calling
expectations.
game.
Yeah,
He was
Missing.
he was
holding the
getting-
bat
he
to
was
the
getting
outfield when
Yeah.
you're about to.
strike out.
Just put your tongue out after you win, or don't. Just be humble in your victory.
But
dude,
but then
you know?
again,
fighting's different. I can't speak.
no one
to
likes
it,
that safe I think I can say this pretty confidently. Like Usman is beating the shit out of people, running through the division. No one's beating him. He still ain't going to be getting those McGregor checks because he plays
ain't a
he
showman.
plays it safe.
Yeah, facts.
He gets the job done. He beats people up, but not in a spectacular fashion. Where
Gotta be an entertainer too.
Yeah, I mean, McGregor is a showman through and through, and he proves it when he talks, and he proves it when he fights. He knocked Donald Cerrone out partially with his fucking shoulders.
Oh, that was nasty.
With his shoulder, which,
That
by
was
the
nasty.
way, Usman was doing. It's now a move that people practice in the UFC. You punching people in the face with your shoulder. So yeah, while the reason we love Jorge Masvidal, we love Street Jesus, is because he is that showman. When he beat the shit out of Nate Diaz, he's laughing, he's sticking his tongue out, he's blowing kisses. He was doing it in this fight too. I think in like the third round. Problem is, you're getting the shit kicked out of you. So it's not as cool anymore when you're trying to be cool and you ain't looking great.
It's part of the
so-
fight
that's so
though.
true.
Just taunting, right? Like maybe you can get in the mental of the other guy.
I don't know. I've always.
Because he does it over the shoulder. He was like blowing kisses, bro. Fucking swollen eye, cut on his.
I've seen.